to and from school every day for the rest of the year. Now, it's a small example of networking, and it's one throughout it's one of the many stories I've had throughout my life, and I'm sure yours as well, where people willingly offer their help and their services just because either someone asked or they were made aware of a problem. And that's what networking is for. Networking, again, I know is a word that so many people talk about and so many people place an emphasis on, but the spirit and the value of it can be lost. But here are the values of networking, because if you do it right and if you do it regularly, networking allows you to build relationships with new people. It allows you to learn from other people's experiences, both triumphs and trials. It allows you to get in front of decision makers for your career, for your business, even in social circles. It allows you to sell your products and services to the right audience. Networking helps you see things from a different perspective. Networking helps you share your knowledge and your insights with others. And of course, networking helps others achieve their dreams and goals. I'm a big numbers guy, right? So I always like to talk about statistics to really paint a concrete picture of the value that networking can bring. And in fact, especially in the world that we live in today, where, as Barbara mentioned, this year has been so different, networking has changed dramatically. In fact, let's talk about some of the numbers first, and we'll talk about how radically the world has changed and how we need to adapt and be flexible in order to continue our networking routine. So some numbers that help frame the power of networking. Networking alone is responsible for filling up to 85% of all jobs. 85%. You remember last week when I was talking about how people spend so much time looking at job aggregators and job search engines and applying and spending up to 45 minutes to apply to one job, and they're doing this 10, 15, 20 times a day, 5 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. Well, only 4% of that type of activity resulted in a hire. In fact, reaching out and building a relationship with recruiters, industry peers, executives, even like executive search firms can drastically increase your chances of getting an interview and even an offer letter. Now, business owners, this is a good statistic for you. Did you know that most business owners have to hand out at least 2,000 business cards in order to see an increase of sales by 2.5%? You might be thinking, how many sales is that? Well, that actually comes out to 50 sales. That means there's only 50 sales generated for every 2,000 handshakes, introductions, and elevator pitches. It's a small margin, right? But the fact is that by going out and meeting new people, talking about your passions and your strengths to new individuals and connections of current individuals allows you to generate more sales in the same process. Now, another one, I think that this is probably more relevant, is that before COVID, 59% of people admitted that they were using technology more and more for remote meetings. We've all become experts at Zoom and WebEx, and for some others, Microsoft Teams. And even before COVID, 83% of most staff were working remotely, at least some of the time. So maybe they weren't working at home or working in their, coffee shop or wherever they found themselves to be most comfortable with every day of the week. But at least 1 or 2 days a week, I mean, that's a significant portion, right? So technology has really become front and center. Now, since February or January when COVID-19 hit, I mean, I would say that those numbers have really maxed out. It would be really difficult for me to see individuals that are in either a professional role or working in a company where there's going to be connections and communications that doesn't necessarily require a face-to-face transaction. It's all electronic. Which curtails our natural ability to meet people and see someone across the room and, or have a friend walk you over to somebody and says, hey, I want you to introduce you to a friend, right? We have to learn now to be able to adapt to a new world where technology is predominantly the only method of being able to meet new people. Now, When I talk to my clients, when I talk to people left and right, and I say like, hey, how is your networking going? Like, is it really important? Most people, again, know how vital networking is, but they also identify that it's a challenge, right? They don't know who to talk to, especially when they don't have somebody else that can facilitate an introduction. They don't know where these individuals are. And then more importantly, even if they do know who it is and where to find them, they kind of struggle with the professionalism of being able to say, well, what am I supposed to say? How do I reach out to them? What do I introduce, or what do I place in my introduction that doesn't make me sound like I'm like selfish or greedy, right? So let's talk about, first and foremost, who are the right people for you to begin networking with. Now, if you're a job seeker, or if you're in a position where you've become either complacent and you're looking for something more, career advancement is your category. And I would say that there are lots of individuals by title and by position that you should be targeting in your job search and in your career advancement strategy, in order to be able to first and foremost reach out, introduce yourself, and more importantly, build a relationship with these people. So who are these people? Well, first and foremost, recruiters. Recruiters are always on the prowl looking for top talent from other companies, or industry professionals with several years of experience in a particular niche. Recruiters would love for people to reach out to them and introduce themselves with a full, completed LinkedIn profile, so that way that the recruiter can do some research in that process. Human resource managers are also another good avenue of introducing yourselves and building relationships. Of course, if you're already working for a company, you should be getting to know who your managers are, who other managers are in different departments that perhaps you work with, or other managers that you've ever had to partner with. So, for example, in talent acquisitions, where I worked for 14 years, I spent a lot of time partnering with legal, with finance, with marketing. There are managers in all of those divisions that, even though I didn't report to them or work with them every day, I found myself building a relationship with them through the work. And we also started a networking within their peers and circle group. If you're already working for a company, definitely join an associate resource group, or in some cases, they're called an employee resource groups. ERGs and ARGs are a phenomenal opportunity for you to get to meet like-minded people, or people that share a similar interest or a similar characteristic, and build upon those similarities in order to find new avenues of growth for your professional career. External industry leaders are another phenomenal source. Now, what's an external industry leader? I'm sure that perhaps you've read an article, or you've attended a conference, or perhaps a name has been mentioned to you about this individual that's doing some great work in this field, or maybe she did this study. Those are industry leaders. These are people that are literally taking your profession, your career to the next level through the research and through the involvement in community activities that they're doing. Reaching out to them is a phenomenal activity, and it's a phenomenal opportunity for you not only to get your name across their radar, but also an opportunity for you to be involved in their projects as well. Now, if you're a graduate of a college, absolutely, alumni associations are key. I cannot tell you how valuable alumni associations are, mostly because of the fact that you share a similar bond with an institution that helped prepare you for your future. But there are thousands, in some cases, tens of thousands of graduates every single year that are taking that degree and they're applying it in a new company or in their own business where they're looking for other people. You'd be surprised at how many people would say, hey, I don't know who you are, but I see that you're a graduate of Loyola University or Midwestern University. So am I. I'd love to get to know more about you. Networking in that way, and just simply even starting with one of these categories. If you want to go for low hanging fruit, the Alumni Association is the way to go, because you will always find a lot of people that are very loyal to their school and the institution that helped prepare them for who they are today. Now, if you're in business and you're looking to either grow your business, find new people, find new customers, there are, again, a large number of categories for you to start networking with. First and foremost, you should know who your target customer is. Right? As a career consultant, a leadership coach, and a personal branding expert, my target customers are healthcare professionals and healthcare executives. It's the industry that I've worked in for 20 years, and I feel that that's where my niche is. Now, can my skill sets be applied for professionals in the IT field, the finance field, sales field? Absolutely. But when I do my marketing, I look for healthcare professionals and executives because there's a similar bond. And when I do networking primarily for them. Service contractors are also people that ultimately, as a business owner, you're going to need. Maybe you're not an accountant by trade, right? Maybe you're not a marketer. Maybe you're not a social media guy or a graphics girl, but you're going to need those people. And networking with people in those different areas allows you to not only build a relationship with them, but you get to see some of their work. You get to actually find out other companies that they've done work for and see the quality of it before you even approach the subject of possibly working with you. The other few categories I would tell you that are phenomenal as a business owner, of course, third-party vendors. Sometimes you need software. Sometimes you need another company to do a little bit of outsourcing or contract work, but also working with professional associations, industry trade groups, local fairs, social events, and chambers of commerce. All of these groups are where you will find some very talented leaders, key members, and key decision makers that can help you either grow your business or expand your business into new markets. Now, maybe, for example, those two don't apply to you. Maybe you're either retired or you're at a point in your career where you are very satisfied, you don't have a business, and yet you still feel the need to be able to give back to the world that has blessed you with so many opportunities. We're talking about leaving a legacy and, in some small and non-narcissistic way, a little bit of self-promotion. It's a healthy thing for you to be able to say, for 20 years, I've been helping healthcare professionals and executives advance their career, build a better brand, and create a lasting legacy. And you want to continue helping to do that. Well, there are lots of groups and people within these groups that are looking for your expertise, your knowledge, and your insights. Reaching out to several trade publications allows you an opportunity to write an article on a topic that's of interest to you. You can actually look for and network with other authors and article contributors that you've come across in a trade publication or in an online journal that you said, wow, this is a really good insights. I've never thought of this before. And you want to be able to build a relationship with them and have a conversation. Podcasters and television hosts are always looking for guests that are experts in their niche, and going out and reaching out, networking with them allows you an opportunity not only to learn more about their show, but also to contribute to their show. And through that process, they will introduce you to other podcasters and television hosts as well. There are a myriad of other groups, right? Volunteer groups like Big Brothers, Big Sisters, YMCA. We've talked about alumni associations, and of course, my personal favorite, nonprofit groups. Many people that I know are very, very involved with Rotary, with Kiwanis, and my favorite, Toastmasters International. All of these groups are fantastic opportunities to network with people and also build relationships and learn about them at the same time you share your insights as well. Now, we've talked about who, and we've talked about sort of where, but let's get a little bit deeper into the where, right? As I said before COVID-19, a lot of people did things IRL, in real life, right? We all attended conferences of some form, whether they were local or state or national. We've attended association and alumni events, or we've done some community volunteering, or if we've been really lucky and we've worked for a company that went to a trade show, we got picked to actually be there and represent our company at that place. We've mentioned civic organizations and nonprofit groups. All of these things may come back, but not for a while. Right? I know that there's been some great positive news coming out about Pfizer, Moderna, even the Oxford vaccine is starting to get pushed. But the reality is that COVID-19 is going to be here for a little while longer. And in fact, that is going to continue to impede our opportunities to shake hands, give people hugs, and actually meet people face to face. So I think it's important that while those types of opportunities existed and will come back, we can't wait 2 years to meet new people. We can't wait 2 months to even continue networking. Networking is the lifeblood of who we are, what we do, and how we maintain our reputation and our presence in the lives of others. So what can you do? How can you continue to network, build relationships with other people in this virtual world that we're all living in? So we're going to talk about probably the first and the best opportunity is, of course, in my opinion, LinkedIn. LinkedIn has over almost 700 million users across the world. That is twice the size of the United States. There's a lot of people, and every day there are more people joining LinkedIn. Now, you may find that overwhelming. 700 million people. I don't have the ability to connect with that many people. You don't have to connect with everybody. You just have to connect with a few people or a particular category that suits you as an interest, as an introduction to networking. If you're not sure where to start, I'm sure that you already have a few people that are in your network. Go see what groups they belong to, or if you belong to a particular profession, an industry, or a business, go Google that keyword in the search engine and you will find hundreds, maybe even thousands of groups that are dedicated to that craft. Now, if LinkedIn is not your primary place of interest in networking, you'll find that Facebook also has a large number of groups where people that share similar interests, similar characteristics, they all congregate and they all communicate with each other to talk about prevalent issues and, of course, helping each other out. I know that Barbara is an example of actually belonging to several groups where she has been able to not only be helped by a lot of her colleagues, but also help others in the way that that helps them grow their business. Again, networking is not about who you know, but networking is about who knows you and what they like, and if they like what they see. That's the key to networking. Now, if Facebook is not your thing, or if Facebook is and you're still looking for something else, Twitter has also an opportunity. So you'll find a lot of hashtags that will be pertinent to your industry. You can join virtual networking groups. You can go to Google and just Google a particular group or a particular craft or a particular hashtag that might be of interest to you, and find other people that are experts in the fields. There are tons of books, magazines, online journals. I've mentioned Toastmasters before, which has now gone virtual as well. Lots of different ways for you to meet new people. Now, we've talked about who and we've talked about where. The question now is how. How do we grow our network and how do we strengthen the network that we have? I think that there's a really interesting study that has come out by, I believe it's LinkedIn, that did a research on over 2,000 people. And they asked, like, hey, how often do you reach out to your network? And they all acknowledged that about 48% reach out to their existing network only when things are rocky. Let me repeat that again. So if you are on LinkedIn, there is a 48% chance that you are going to reach out to someone in your network that you've already established a connection with when you need help. That's a poor way of really strengthening your relationship, right? You've probably spent months, maybe even years, and in some cases, decade, trying to build relationships with people in other areas of the world, in other parts of the industry, only to connect with them and forget about them. That's not the way relationships work. Could you imagine if I did that to my wife? Hi, honey, what's for dinner? That's the only time I asked her, how things are going. It would be a disaster. We would not be married. Right. And so you have to think of networking as a relationship process. So let's talk about, first and foremost, how to build a new relationship. Number one, you have to ask for an introduction, right? If you're on LinkedIn, there's a couple of easy ways to find new people on LinkedIn. If you don't know where to start with what you have. Go to your first level connections. And then when you go there, go click on their connections. Usually they have more than 500 plus connections. If you click on that, you can see all of their first level connections that you may only be a second level connection to. That means you don't have a personal relationship or you've not connected with them directly. Go and reach out to them, research their profile, see if they're the right match for you. Maybe they're in a decision-making position. Maybe that they're a buyer for a company that wants to buy your product. Or maybe they're a podcaster, television show host that really wants to invite you on as a guest because their topic is of interest to you. So how do you do that? Well, you really just want to send a short introduction that should use a basic 4-part formula. Part number 1, a quick hello and a pleasant greeting using their name. So I've gotten many introductions that just say, hi, valued friend, or hello, professional. That's a horrible way to start. You just want to be very quick and simple, like, good morning, Barbara, or hello, Jeff. Simple as that. Number 2, share how you know them or what interests you have in common. If I'm reaching out to a healthcare professional, I'll always say, hey, I'm a healthcare professional and I enjoy connecting with other healthcare professionals as well. I hope you do as well. Number three, invite them to connect with you. Now, clearly, you're sending them an introduction, and you'd think that this is just an automatic invitation. But the call to action, asking them, and by telling them, I would love to connect with you, and I hope you accept, or it would be phenomenal for us to partner together. Let's connect here on LinkedIn, is a key piece in that 4-part formula. You're literally telling them what the purpose of this introduction or in-mail was. And finally, which is always the nicest way to close out this 4-part formula, is either make an offer to help them with the project or with something that they're working on, or at least let them know that you'd like to schedule some time that they can learn about you more. In some cases, I typically just say, hey, if there's something I can do for you, let me know. I'd love to be able to lend my talents to your project. Very simple. And so that's the best way for you to subversively or covertly, without necessarily having to scream at the top of your lungs and go through this process, you can find other people by looking at the people that you're connecting with and introducing and connecting with a second level connection. Number two, offer to do an introduction swap with one of your first level connections on LinkedIn. So if you happen to know somebody and you're going through their connections, and you might say, wow, I'm really interested in working for company ABC, and I know that you actually have 4 friends that work there. Would you do me a favor? Would you connect me through LinkedIn by just saying, hey, John, this is Iqbal. Iqbal, meet John. I would love for you guys to connect. I think that there's a lot of chemistry, professional chemistry between you. And I think it would be fantastic if you met. That's a first level introduction swap. And of course, the swap part is you can introduce them to 1 or 2 people in your connections as well. It's a great way to, again, expand the network and help other people grow their opportunities. Perhaps you're already working, right? So now we're going to go to number 3. Leverage your opportunities and relationships at work. There are a myriad of opportunities for you to expand your network, and I want to talk about a few of them right now. Number 1, volunteer to work or lead a project. I think that's very critical in today's world because you're given an opportunity to showcase your strengths and your skills, and at the same time, you're able to meet and help new people as well. I'll go through a few others very quickly. Of course, you can join and serve in a volunteer organization. You can write an article. Definitely engage in social media. That's where everyone is. And to be honest with you, most people are going to feel comfortable even saying hello to you if they have an idea of what your personality looks like online. You can invest in your existing contacts, and I say that by saying you should reach out to your contacts twice a year. Even if nothing bad is happening, call them, ask them how things are going in their world, and see what you can do as well. I hope you find all of these ideas and insights valuable. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Until then, I'm Iqbal Acha, consultant, career consultant, leadership coach, personal branding expert, and I'm wishing you and your family a very safe and a very happy Thanksgiving. Barbara?
I am on mute.
I
Thank
was
you
going
for
to
your
say, I
awesome.
couldn't hear you for a second, but now I can.
Always happens. But anyway, thank you, Iqbal, for your awesome knowledge and take on networking. Truly appreciate you so much. And happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well.
I will. Thank you as well, Barbara. You take care.
Take care. I gotta get that mute. But anyway, with that said, it happens. That's what happens when you do live talk show. Things will happen that way. But moving forward here, let me do a quick. I'm going to throw the sponsor out there real quick, and then I have a lovely surprise for everybody, and we'll just go from there. Let me do the sponsor real quick. Awesome. So with that, you know what I'm doing I started doing last week is I started doing trivia questions. So I'm going to put the trivia question out and then we'll bring my surprise. And then after the surprise is over, I will give you the answer. So I make you think. Yes, I'm going to give you that little like, oh, she's giving us the what, really? She's making us wait. Yes, anticipation. So for this, and it's all have to do with Thanksgiving, since this is kind of the month for that. How many calories are in an average Thanksgiving meal, not including dessert or drinks? So how many calories are in an average Thanksgiving meal, not including dessert or drinks? I know. I know. So with that, I want to bring on this lovely, wonderful, awesome, amazing person. She basically saved me today. In fact, she did save me today. Usually we have our basically, I'm not financial, I'm sorry, our person that talks about law enforcement and all that kind of stuff, Harlan McMath. Well, he had an emergency that happened, so please keep him in prayer. He just called me like a few minutes before and said that he needed to go to urgent care. So with that, I want to keep everybody's keeping him in prayer, and then we'll be checking on him later. But I was like, okay, I need somebody to come on that's going to be awesome. So I found that person, Lachelle Akins. Yes. America's Supermom. She is coming right now. Now she's going to talk to us a little bit about her. Like I said, as always, I always want to expose and give the exposure to people. So let me bring her on right now. The lovely lady herself.
Good morning. Good morning. I am so glad to be here this Monday.
I'm so glad that you're here because, like I said, you saved me.
Oh, you are so sweet. We save each other, okay? We hang pretty tight, so we got to do that.
We do, and I'm going to tell everybody out there before you start talking about your awesome self and a little things about you, is that me and Lachelle, when I was talking about collaboration earlier and getting with people and just helping each other and moving each other up. Well, Lachelle is that type of person. I feel like I'm a partner in crime with her too. She has coached me and still coaching me in certain areas. And hopefully I help her and give her some value too. But when we get on the phone, when we get together, it starts off a little bit the coach and everything else we talk next, 2 or 3 hours. Which I know I can't do that today.
So true.
But see, you would always enjoy people coming together that has that same mind frame and positively. You like to hang out with those people. So Lachelle is that type of person. So Lachelle, let me be quiet. Like I said, I'm going to cut myself off today and let you talk. So can you give everybody, I know you're America's Supermom and you have 15 children. And oh my God, every time I say that and listen to it, I was like, wow. But I want you to really just give the why about you. About you. Not so much, I know we all know you're the America's Supermom, but just give some whys about you and what you do.
Yeah. So just a little backstory. Everyone has heard her say America's Supermom, but where does that title come from? Well, my husband and I have 15 children, 10 of them which live at home now, 8 of them that are doing e-learning. So needless to say, I've got a lot of irons in the fire just with that alone. But in addition to that, I have my own podcast and I'm a lifestyle designer. So my story begins where I struggled with depression in my own life. I was raised as a high achiever. Focus on what I can do in a situation where life happened, where I had a large family with no experience juggling the ups and downs of what it means to be a parent and depression. So I wasn't depressed where I was in the bed, but I was dealing with being unfulfilled. I was people pleasing, doing things for other people, seeking validation out of the things that I did. And so that struggle led me to hospitalization 3 times. And so after that last experience, I just realized, there's a pattern here. I can't keep blaming my kids and husband husband, I have to take accountability for me, and I have to do what is going to get me out of this situation. So I created a strategy that I call Fresh Start that helped me escape depression and maintain a life depression free. And that's really the basis of now what I do in terms of group coaching, individual coaching with empowering women to overcome their limiting beliefs and then transform their mindsets.
Mm-mm-mm. You know, it's just awesome how we, you know, I always tell people things that happen in our lives that we can either make a decision, we can go left or go right. And I always say that you can either
Mhm.
be the victim of what's going on with you, or you can be the victorious person and move forward and not only help yourself and your family, but, you know, help others. And that's what you do. And I see that. I
Mhm.
mean, you, like you said, you went through that dark
Mhm.
tunnel in your life and you didn't even
Mhm.
realize, like you said, sometimes you didn't realize you was going through your day, didn't know that you were dealing with something that you were like, wait a minute, something's not right here. And I
Mhm.
commend you for, you know,
Oh,
seeing that and saying, okay, I need to move forward here, what's going on, you know. um
exactly.
so
And
just give a
it's
little bit, because
hard.
I know you mentioned. Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go. I was going to say, yeah, it's hard to when you don't know what you don't know, So I had created this life where, my husband was the breadwinner. I stayed home with the kids. So the issue was if he's not here and I had no siblings, I was an only child, I just have to do it because he's not here taking it for the team. So that idea of taking on the role and being successful at it was just really too much for one person to bear. But I just didn't see that because I was raised where, hey, things are hard. That's normal, but I was taking on not only my issues, but everybody else's. I just use the analogy of if my legs are broke, I'm trying to carry 12 or 13 people on my back at the same time.
Mm.
Crazy.
And you know what happens, that's a lot of weight. That's a lot of
That's a
weight.
lot of weight, and you're not going anywhere, not going
No,
a place,
it's like
okay?
it's like you're right here sitting still. It's like I can't
Mhm,
move. Got all that
mhm,
extra weight on you.
mhm,
Yes, yes, yes. So
mhm.
so before we
Okay.
tell a little bit, because one awesome thing that happened with you recently is your book came out. So give
Yes,
us some information about that. I knew
awesome.
it was ready.
This Yeah, this is actually, just a great testament of collaboration. This is one of the things that I have embraced just wholeheartedly in my own struggle because I was raised with that idea that if I have to get something, I have to do the work. So it was always the burden of me doing it all. Whereas now, after my own experiences, I've realized, why are you making yourself an island? Why are you limiting the
Mm.
reach and impact that you can have with other people by just doing it for what you can do? Because every day I'm not always hyped up and excited. With a family our size, there are days I just want to lay in bed. But if you have collaborated with a team, then that message can spread whether you are on the team actively every day. It just expands your reach. So this came as a result of a Facebook group. It's 20 authors telling their story, and the money is going to go to charity. We are raising funds for entrepreneurship in the area of Morocco. So their goal is to build buildings so that it can be a place to where they can incubate businesses and teach them about entrepreneurship. So collaboration to me is just really a great thing because if I waited on me writing this book, it would still be in this computer. Okay. But because I was able to contribute one chapter, now I have something that I could share with other people.
Yes. And see, this gets your juices flowing, because I know now you do that one chapter, you might just want to turn around and do your own book. It gets it flowing. So don't be
Absolutely.
surprised.
Absolutely.
Don't be surprised. Yes. I am so happy for you. And I know you mentioned too in the
Absolutely.
book that you're you're the only US person that's in the book. Is that correct?
Only one from the United States. Yeah, only one from the
Yes.
United States. So I
Oh.
love it. America's Supermom, representing America amongst all the other authors that are from Ireland, UK. Um, I can't think of all Sweden. Yeah, we've got a lot of places.
I'm loving the global
So it's a blessing.
the connectness. I'm
Yes.
loving the global connectness with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
And that's
So
just
now, real
another
quickly,
test.
go ahead.
Go
I think we
ahead.
got a little
Oh,
delay,
I was gonna say,
Michelle.
yeah, I was I was gonna say it's another testament to women having the same issue no matter where you're located, all over the world. We kind of get this isolation mindset that woe is me. I was there, victim for 13 years. It just didn't serve me. I've really finally looked in the mirror and said, this is crazy. But we all struggle with those same things across the world,
Yeah, yeah. And I'm glad you said that, Lachelle. It is, we do struggle. We as women, we all, just because we're in a different country, that doesn't mean that one's different than I mean, we're all dealing with different things, especially as women.
Right.
Especially if you're different minorities too. So it's good to
Yeah.
come collectively together in a book and really express, and people say, oh, you know what? I didn't know. I'm glad that, I got a connection with them. So yes, I'm so glad that first of all you're part of the book, and that all the other ladies are collaborating with it as well to tell their stories. So that's good.
Yep, I'm
So
excited.
before I let you, because I know time is ticking, and I know you are a busy lady, but I want to just ask a little bit because of this week being Thanksgiving week. What are you thankful for, and can you give the audience one tip about doing something for Thanksgiving?
Awesome. So I am so grateful for being alive. Everybody is talking about this virus and, oh, did you catch it? Have you had your tests and all this stuff? So I am grateful to be healthy, be able to add value, and be able to do something. So many people are just glued to the news about the negativity, the numbers rising, but what are you doing? So I challenge everybody as we go through this Thanksgiving season to think about what can you do to make this world a better place. We talk about approaching 2021, but what are you going to do? You have to have your plan of action. You just don't wake up and have everything all set for you. That would be great. Like a Thanksgiving meal would be great if I could wake up and be like, oh, everything is finished. I can just go to the table and eat. I'm the one that's got to do the cooking, right? So we have to think about when 2021 comes, what preparations have we put in place for us to have this new normal or whatever it is that we want? What plan of action are we going to take? So I challenge everybody to think about, in the spirit of gratitude and being grateful, what do you want to lay ahead for you in 2021? And if you have those things in mind, start creating them now because you want them to be waiting for you and not, trying to play catch up when 2021 gets here.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Now, Lachelle, any other last items that you want to mention to the listeners out there before we end the session?
Absolutely. I want to say thank you so much for having me today. I want to remind everybody to watch the Diamond Factor Experience in Facebook. We have a Facebook group, and I have a show on Fridays at 6:30 a.m. It's Fashion Friday. So I give marketing tips along with free giveaway. So I also want to say that I am going to be doing a coaching class, a master class for free with this book, with my chapter, which is My Life Mask Free. So it talks about me removing the mask, my depression. So they can reach out to me through the comments or on Facebook if they're interested in attending that class.
Yes, and we'll make sure, Lachelle, I get that information from you. So I want to make sure I post it, with the caption so people understand
Okay.
where to get the book and in the class that you're doing and everything that you're doing. So
Mhm.
we want to make sure we
Mhm.
spotlight you for that. So thank you, lady. Like I
Awesome.
said, I know you've got another thing coming, but thank you for just coming in today and being my 911.
Oh, this was a good 911 call, okay? Yeah,
I like the good ones. We don't like the bad ones too. It's like, ugh.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, I wish you a
Okay.
wonderful Thanksgiving. Thanks so much for thinking of me, and keep shining, girl. You're doing some great work.
Thank you, lady. You take care. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Okay.
See, when you can just reach out to people when you're in need, that's what happens. So thank you, Lachelle, for coming on today. And thank you for everybody else. Before we say chilio, I don't even know where that came from, but before the day is out for Monday, and a lot of people call this Motivational Monday, and I just want you to make sure that you do what you're doing for yourself. Okay, it's I really, I always talk about the PPD, and that's the purpose, passion, and drive in people's lives. I want to make sure that you are passionate about what you're doing, and it's not just a regular routine. I've been there, and sometimes I still do it, and I tell people that's why I'm so strong when it comes to the PPD in your life, because I want you. We only get this one life to live, so I want you to live it the way you would love to see yourself and then help others from your gifts. So remember that. As I always say to make sure to live on your purpose and your passion, and then let that drive, those stories, those things that happen in your life, remind you of why you do your purpose and your passion. Okay. So with that, one more thing. I gotta give you the answer to the trivia, right? Because I know you've been thinking. You've been thinking if you're on here. So I asked how many calories are in an average Thanksgiving meal, not including the dessert or drinks. And the answer, and I got this on Google University, so don't be like, well, Barbara gave the answer. No, this is Google University. 3,000 calories. And this is without dessert. And they're talking about this is without dessert or drinks. 3,000 calories in an average Thanksgiving meal. And now I'm thinking that I gave this trivia. I know a lot of people are like, dang, I was going to be just eat really good on Thursday and stuff. And now Barbara will throw out there how many calories it is. I mean, first of all, you're going to do what you're going to do. I was tell you. Second of all, this just gives you an awareness. What did I say about this show? I give an awareness, information, and motivation. So I'm motivating you just to be aware of the fact that you're eating almost maybe 3,000 calories on Thanksgiving Day. But believe me, that hits home to me too, not just you. We always got to have a little laugh, a little fun as we're moving along in the show. So with that said, we will be back. We will be back this Wednesday for another awesome two experts that are going to be coming on. And yes, it's the day right before Thanksgiving. Not canceling. No, I'm here for you, for each and every one of you out there. So with that said, have a lovely Monday, motivational Monday. Remember, do what you feel that pushes you, that's your passion, that you love. Seek for that. Do the jump. Do the jump. And remember, not only taking it on just for yourself, but others will grab a hold and learn from you because you have special gifts and special talents in you. See you on Wednesday.